Hi everyone, I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. It's August 11th, a Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, and today we're going to talk about U.S. immigration like we do every Monday through Thursday live on TikTok. Immigration lawyer John is the handle, and on Tuesdays, Instagram, JQK Law Firm, and the recording of this on youtube.com, the JQK Law Firm page. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and ring that bell to get the latest updates because we have clips and videos coming out every day about the immigration system in the United States so you can learn what's going on and what's happening. We have a fan, Abdul Shah, saying good morning to you too. Good evening for us, but good morning to you. As a reminder, as always, when we start, this is general information only, not intended for individual legal advice. You should consult with an immigration attorney in private for help on an individual case. And if you go to JQK Law Firm's YouTube page, there's a new video I posted called 8 steps to choosing an immigration lawyer. And I break down, it's almost I think 25 minute video that breaks down each step of how to get an immigration lawyer and how to choose one. And so I think it's a great resource for you all to use before you make that decision. And along with that, if you are interested in a marriage green card, a fiance visa, or something like that that's related to marriage-based immigration, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card ebook at www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook, and it's a free resource to give you the initial evidence and information that you need to develop an idea of how the case is going to look, and answers most, if not all, your major questions. But then after that, you could decide to work with an immigration attorney, and it helps you have an understanding, so when you go to talk to them, you already know what's going on. They say something is different, you can question them about it and figure it out. But it's a great resource that's free at www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook, and you can download it right there. I think it's going to be a great help for all y'all. Even those who aren't doing marriage-based cases, there's chunks of information there that will apply to you anyways. But with that, let's get it started. All right, I really enjoy doing Tuesdays because we have Instagram rolling, and there's always a lot of fans, a lot of good people there. So it's fun to have you. Thank you all for joining. We got a big group of people who jumped in. Our first question on TikTok, unfortunately these are timeline questions I don't have, bro. It says, hey bro, I'm waiting my marriage interview. Yeah, you gotta wait, and when they call you, they call you. That's in their hands. Shaker says, hi attorney, I hope you are doing great. Well, thank you. Question, is there a way to get status of my case with the BIA? You know, I don't file BIA case anymore, so I don't have the newest details on that, but probably not. Those cases could take a long time. But if you did file with the BIA, you probably, have an attorney, so ask them. But I don't think there's a way to really check on that. It just takes a while whenever they get to it. We have another question from Alma. Says, my husband and I are long distance due to work. Will this affect approval of a marriage green card? Well, actually, just upload it. It's going to be posted a day or two, the exact answer to your question. And the answer is it depends. I need to know the facts of your case and why it is that you are separate. And if it's work, we should be able to document it. In the past, I have been successful without any issues several times in this kind of scenario, but it depends on the facts. And we have to see why it is and be able to explain that you have a different address, and you have to fill out the paperwork properly so you can properly indicate that you're living separately and give them a heads up so they're not surprised. It doesn't look bad like you're trying to hide something. So there's a lot of carefulness you have to do in filling out the paperwork properly. But it is possible generally, but we got to check out your case to see how it is. We have a question on Instagram. Negarina asks, can you give me a time frame for green card application for spouse outside US? No. If you do download the marriage green card ebook, I give some general time frames, but with the coronavirus, there are no time frames. So you just have to wait and be patient, unfortunately. That's just the way it is. And I need more information anyway based on that question before I can answer that, even in general. Okay, next question, Saka say, hi sir, how should I fill the casework form authorization form? How should I fill the caseworker form authorization? I don't even know what that is, caseworker form, I don't know what you're talking about, so sorry Saka, I can't answer that. Let's see, Alma says, thank you. Danny says, is it true if you apply for citizenship, it will cost $1,150? Not right now. Right now, it's, I don't know, $725, but they are increasing the fees to that amount at the end of September. So if you do have a citizenship case coming up, or you want to file for citizenship, or any other immigration-based application, you really got to jump on it now to get it submitted before these fee hikes happen. So definitely consult with a lawyer, but there's going to be a serious increase in a lot of different types of cases. Kara asks, what is the process for a marriage green card? Well, I'll talk about that briefly, but really what you need to do is download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card ebook at www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook, because I spend 30-40 pages explaining that. And so it's really hard for me to do that here in this forum, and especially, in writing, you can refer back to and everything. But I really can't answer that question because there's different types of marriage green card processes, and it depends on your case and your background. Essentially, you do have to submit evidence that you're a real couple, it's a real relationship. You also have to submit evidence of the foreign person's background and financial situation, and maybe more depending on the facts of your case. But it varies depending on if you're a green card holder or a citizen, if the spouse is overseas in the United States, if it's a fiance visa case, if there's inadmissibility issues or some issues in their background that are problematic. There's all these different things we need to know to be able to answer that question. So I can't do it. If you have a private consultation, do it. Or better yet, just get the free ebook at first. They'll give you an idea. And if you still want to talk to an attorney, just email me then and schedule a consultation and we can get into it. Okay, Glitzgal says, working in Canada while I have a green card coming to the United States, last time I was told I need a travel document. Is that the I-131, and can that be applied while in Canada? Well, that's a really important question. I'm glad you mentioned that, because no, you can't. So if you have a green card and you're spending too much time outside the United States and not really residing here, that's problematic, because a green card means I'm a resident of America. I'm living there. But if you're actually not living there outside, that could cause accusations of abandonment of your green card and cause you to lose it. And so one of the ways to help bolster your arguments and say, this is just temporary work and I don't plan on giving up my green card and abandoning my residency in the United States, is submitting what's called a re-entry permit with Form I-131. Re-entry permit Form I-131. There are some nuances to this though. A re-entry permit requires you by regulation that you be physically in the United States when you apply for it. So you can't be overseas, you have to be in the United States. And typically there's a fingerprinting appointment that comes 1 or 2 months later. So with saying that, if you do submit it, there's going to be a fingerprinting appointment where you have to be in the U.S. again. Now, historically, too, I would have my clients submit the case. Once they have it in the government's hands, we know we have it, they would leave, and then whenever we get the fingerprinting appointment, they would come back. But under this administration, it's not clear whether that is still legal or not. So I tell clients, submit biometrics and wait for a fingerprinting appointment, which means you might be stuck here 1 or 2 months. On typical circumstances, but 2 other nuances come. One is, with the coronavirus, the fingerprinting appointments have been shut down. So we have cases where he submitted, months and months go by and no fingerprinting appointment. So that's a weird thing, although they have started to reopen the fingerprinting. Secondly, a colleague just posted today that they got a re-entry permit that they had submitted, I don't know, in January, February, approved today without fingerprints. So that may happen too. So it's a really difficult position they put you in between the coronavirus and all the stuff that's going on with the current administration. But the short answer to your question is, do you have to physically be in the United States when it's applied? Yes. Will there be a biometrics? Probably, now that they're reopening. And can you leave in between? Maybe. So it's not the best answers, but if you're in Canada, it might be easy enough for you just coming back and forth in the US frequently enough to avoid that kind of problem. And maybe keep a residence here, have utilities. You really need a consultant attorney to plan for this kind of stuff. So have a consultation with an attorney to look over your life, your plans, and strategize how to avoid losing the green card and losing residency. And so you really need to have hopefully you had an attorney when you got your green card. That's important, having an advocate, a consultant, a person that's with you and that's plans for these things ahead of time. You shouldn't have had to been told this. You should have been prepared beforehand so that when it came time at the border, you wouldn't have to deal with this kind of situation. That all comes with planning with your individual attorney, and that's what we're here for. This is just one of the many things you have to be watch out for and to be prepared for. So hopefully that information helped and you get the help that you need eventually. Vara says, thank you too. Jignash says, what's update on visa ban? There's a lot of different visa bans, so it's not something I can just say this one or this one. There's one group, I think it's called the Migration Policy Institute or something like that. They issued like a 70-page book or 80-page book about all the visa travel bans. So if someone asks me what's going on with the visa ban, it's just so open-ended. It's like, I don't even know what's going on with basketball. I'm like, well, they're playing, but you really mean an individual team is part of what you're asking. So I need to know which individual team or travel ban you're referring to. Shakufa on Instagram says, I'm waiting for my spouse's approval from USCIS. What should I do after the approval? Well, Shakufa, I don't know. I need to know more information about your background and what's going on in your case and your spouse. So it's not something I can answer. A private consultation is needed in this kind of case. Okay, I'm back on TikTok. Jesse says, any updates on asylum seekers or renewal work permit? Yeah, there's massive changes coming. I'm not going to get into that here, but there's going to be major changes coming in the process. Whether it affects you and how it affects you, it's going to be different for every case. You need to consult with your immigration attorney in private. Official Raj says, on the one hand, USCIS is making current priority, but not processing the petitions. Why? They are processing petitions. The petition processing never stops. So I'm not sure what your question is. Dustin says, we're going to submit our requirements for marriage green card. How long before the interview? I don't know. It's whenever they get your turn. It gets your turn. That's when it is. Jesse says, thank you. You're welcome. Dustin says, I'm here in the U.S., by the way. Yeah, it depends on your local field office whenever they get around to it. You're welcome, Shukufe. Amanshar says, why green card status doesn't change even after we submit requests for outside processing times? Because they don't care. I mean, it is what it is. You just have to wait. That's all it is. Asa says, it's been 4.5 years that I live in the United States. Is it a good time to apply for citizenship? Well, if it's been 4.5 years, you still can't apply for citizenship. You have to wait longer, at least 4 years and 9 months. But is it a good time to apply? Well, they are increasing the filing fee, so that might be a reason. But each case is different. I don't know your background. You may have got your green card by mistake, or you made an error, and if you file for citizenship, they find that out and they take away your green card. So these kind of stuffs happen. It's not typical, but it does happen. So whether it's a good time for you to apply, that's something I can only say after I get to know you and your background and your paperwork and everything about your life. So this is the forum to be able to answer that question. Generally speaking, I prefer clients file for their citizenship as soon as possible, because they wait and then something happens, they change the rules, it gets harder, more difficult, they increase the fees, they get a DUI or something like that, they get some sort of criminal history, all these sorts of problems pop up. So yeah, the soonest you can file for U.S. citizenship, the better. But I bring this up a lot. Some countries don't allow you to have dual citizenship. The U.S. isn't one of them, but if you get U.S. citizenship, you might lose the citizenship of your home country. So that's a factor to take into consideration as well that people don't know. I have Japanese clients, Indian clients, German clients, where I tell them they come to me for citizenship, and I say, well, I'd be happy to help you get citizenship, but are you cool with losing your previous passport? And they're like, oh, wait a minute. So in those cases, it's not a good time for them to apply because they don't want to lose their home country passport. So that's the thing about these kind of questions in such a open forum like this. I don't know anything about you to be able to advise for you, but hopefully those factors I just talked about help light a light bulb and cause you to think about it more and to consult privately with an attorney to get a good decision, because there's value to what a good immigration attorney could give you in planning and strategizing your life and to avoid pitfalls and speed bumps along the way. All right, so B-Buck says, U.S. visa closed for all applicants? No, not at all. Akiash says, how long will it take for U.S. Embassy to contact for an interview of submitting? Whenever they get around to it and they find a spot for you. Alice says, can I report my petitioner for changing of his date of birth to bring my cousin to U.S. 2 years ago? Can I report my petitioner? You could do whatever you want, so it's up to you. Akash, yeah. Jig says, I-130 is still processing. Yeah, just gotta be patient. NF2031 says, if you want to get to divorce and your husband is not here, what are the requirements to do so? That's a family law matter. It's not an immigration law matter, so you definitely need to contact a marriage attorney in the state that you're living in to discuss what the marriage and divorce laws are in your state. I'm not permitted to respond to a question like that. Jignesh says, H-1B visa filed this year, but then all visa centers are closed. Am I going to get approval or rejection on H-1B filed this April? Well, you still can get your H-1B approved. Now, the problem is if you're in the United States, then you just will have change of status or extension of status. That's fine. If you're outside the United States, that's where the problem comes, because they probably won't issue a visa unless your case falls within one of the exceptions. And so that's the whole thing on its own. So yeah, if you're in the United States, they still will approve the H-1B. It's just a visa won't be issued if you're overseas. So these are nuanced, these answers. So yes and no at the same time. If you're specifically asking for H-1B filed, is that going to approve? Yeah, it could get approved. Will the visa get approved? We don't know. It depends on your background, the work you're doing, and if you fall within some of these exceptions. And this is, I always say, this is why a private consultation is needed, because these things are so different and so nuanced. We really got to figure out how it's going to work in your kind of case. And Jenny says, but I can get a visa in 20 next year, right? Hopefully, I don't know. It depends on what President Trump does, and so I don't know. And then actually, when you do get an H-1B approved, you're supposed to start working in October of that year. I don't know how this is all going to work out, because this is all like they're making this up as they go along. Excuse me. I'm not sure how if that visa could get pushed next year, and I'm not sure how it's all going to work out. You had a company, an employer that filed for the H-1B for you. They have an attorney on hand. That's the best person to talk about with regard to that private case. Abdul Rashad asks, when does the USCIS normally update their website? There's no normal. They do it whenever they want to do it. Okay, so Alicia says, how long is the N400 taking? I mean, how long will it take to complete an naturalization procedure? That varies for each case in each field office. It's not a good question to ask these timeline questions because there's no consistency in it. Gina says, I-130 still processing or not? Yes, it never stopped processing. I'm submitting I-130 petitions every month and getting approvals every month as well. Just go to my Instagram page, JQK Law Firm, and you'll see copies of approval notices of I-130s and I-129Fs and L1s, all of these kind of stuff. Jesse says, what is the shortest time the naturalization process complete? It's just not a realistic question, Jesse. I mean, it could take one day if the Congress wanted to give someone citizenship. So these timeline questions aren't realistic. You just got to file and wait your turn. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of issues happening. This timeline rush is just not realistic. You just got to wait and get your turn. Kyra says, bro, I'm applying your application for employment authorization January 13, 2020. There are no response. Yeah, you gotta wait. I mean, it's unfortunate it's taking this long, but I don't contact USCIS if you feel it's taking too long. Let's see, unemployment. I don't have any comments on unemployment. Dustin says once requirements have been received by USCIS, do I get the work permit first before marriage interview? Not necessarily. It depends on how fast each of those processes work out. TikTok says, any luck on timeline for CR1 interview appointment? Nope, you just have to wait your turn. I'm just going to start skipping through timeline questions if I catch them. Renewed my green card last month. Do you think I'm going to take a lot because it expires next month? Yeah, it could take 2 months, it could take a year. And I don't know what kind of issues your case has. Maybe it won't even get renewed, might get denied for all I know, so I don't know. Akish says, to what people is the embassy giving visas to? Well, it depends. It depends. There's so many different travel bans, and depends on which embassy you're dealing with, and which travel ban you're dealing with. But generally, spouses of U.S. citizens and children of U.S. citizens are okay. That's far as I'm going to go, because each travel ban is nuanced. Some say a spouse of a green card holder is okay. Some say no. Some say if you're from China, you visit China, Iran, Brazil, you can't come. Some have exceptions to that. So it's like all over the place, and it's really individual case. So we have to see what the background of the foreign applicant is who's applying for the visa and how they fit within the specifics of the travel bans, plural travel bans that affect them, not just one. So it's not some general thing I can just talk about because it's just too much going on for me to be able to answer that. Label asks, when to expect response from NBC. I don't know, just keep contacting them. Are R1 visas available? I don't handle R1, so I don't know. H Kanchai says, can TPS holder able to back after staying more than the time they gave? I don't understand your question. Sorry, I don't want to answer me. I don't completely understand. Sammy says, hi to you too as well. Left Coast USA, my brother's petitioned my dad for his green card, but USCIS denied him because of fraud. Oh, you're screwed. Left Coast, he follows up, he's still got a work permit for 1 year. Can USCIS still grant him a permanent green card? This is something don't ask here. Hey, turn off your phone and call an immigration lawyer. This is really serious. It's like I'm having a heart attack. Should I call 911 or should I just go eat a hamburger? That's how serious it is when you tell an immigration lawyer your case got denied because of fraud and you come to this forum. You need to consult immigration or private. Fraud is serious. They're going to put your dad in deportation potentially, or the permanent ban potentially coming in. They might take away your brother's green card depending on what kind of fraud it was, or not saying citizenship, and the fraud existed before he got his citizenship. So there's a lot of crazy things going on. You really need to ASAP to put down the phone and consult with an immigration attorney for help and guidance on this. It's a very serious matter. Let's see. I hate to be scary like that, but this is serious, serious business. Not something to call a TikTok lawyer for. He's to call an in-person lawyer. Akash says, for U.S. Embassy, are you still giving spouse visas? In some cases they are, some cases they're not. Lev says, so you said spouse of a green card holder might get visa during ban? It depends. Some bans yes, some bans no. It depends on which ban it is. For spouse of a green card holder. Vishal says, do we have to fill out DS-5540 for my spouse visa if I filed it last year? It depends on when your spouse is going to the U.S. Embassy. If they were going today, no. There's a prohibition on that based on an injunction. But by the time, most of the interviews are not happening right now. So by the time your spouse goes to their interview, the injunction might be gone. They may have to. So it's something that we have to do day by day. What I'm doing with my clients is we're preparing the DS-5540, having it ready, and then whether we're going to use it or give it to the State Department or not, we'll make that decision when the time comes for the interview, if they request it or if it's needed or not. But as it is right now, the DS-5540, the public charge application, is not used because of the injunction, but we don't know when that injunction is going to be lifted. A lot of it is court politics, so we have to see how that's going to be dealt with. I don't have an answer to that. So I know these are important questions, these are the burning questions, but you know, what are we going to do? We don't have answers to all this kind of stuff. Immigration is a fast-moving target. Things change quickly and drastically, and a lot of times we don't even tell us when it changes. You know, I was talking with a colleague today who filed a case, got it denied, and the reason it was denied is because at that local office in Florida where they file their case, they don't accept this particular type of case, but if you're in like San Francisco, they will. And so he was used to filing these in San Francisco. The office in Miami or Florida, wherever it was, denied it, and so that's just the way it is. Different offices do things differently, so you have to understand, like, there's so complicated immigration law, and that's why you have to have an immigration lawyer. I know it sucks, and people say, oh, I had a paralegal do it, assistant do it. Well, they mess up. I had a consultation yesterday with a woman who had a paralegal do it, and now they got an RFE, and so it just makes our job harder, and the consequences, if that RFE is not approved, is going into deportation. They'll fix it, but it just, because the judge will accept it eventually, it's obviously everything's right, but they just did the paperwork wrong. The problem is they're going to end up spending $10,000 they didn't need to spend, and they're not a very wealthy family. They're pretty poor, actually. And at the same time, it's very stressful to go to immigration court and deal with that. So, you pay a little bit now to avoid paying a lot later. That's just how it goes. Sunny says, hi, is your firm getting I-751 approvals in less than a year in California? Yeah, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I've had cases. Go to my, just go to my Instagram page, JK Law Firm. I posted, I think 2 of them I got less than a year, 7 or 8 months or something like that. But I have others that are taking more than a year. It just varies. But there are samples of approvals on the Instagram page, JQK Law Firm's Instagram page. Vishal says, thank you, you're welcome. Leba says, my spouse is in Dubai and almost close to interview, just waiting for embassy to transfer case to embassy. Oh, best of luck. Hopefully it happens sooner. The interview is going to happen in Abu Dhabi, not in Dubai, but hopefully, yeah, maybe, hopefully, I don't know. Is there a chance? There's always a chance, but that's worthless for me to say that. So, especially because I have no idea about the details of your case, and what you told me is not enough for me to have a really realistic answer to that. Akiash says, what general questions do they usually ask in an interview? Well, it depends on what kind of interview you're doing, Akiash. Is it marriage or employment-based and stuff? The primary stuff is they want to see who you are, what you're about, where you've been, have you been involved in any dangerous kind of stuff, is your identity correct, have you ever lied to the government before? Those are the stuff. Are you going to be a public charge? Are you going to come to the United States and be broke? That's general stuff, but then depending on the type of case you have, they'll go into more specifics. And just so that's why your question has to be more specific. Do you know a time period for a spouse visa in California? No, each field office is different. It takes different amount of time. User 12 says, hi, when the U.S. Embassy in Djibouti will return back to business, I don't know, you should email them and ask them. That's where you get the most cutting edge information. Akiash says, interview for spouse, general questions. And they just ask to see if your relationship is fake, and they ask you questions. Honestly, this is great. Thank you, Akiash. So, Akiash, thanks for asking that. If you download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card ebook at www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook, I added in the appendix 4 pages of questions that they could ask you in a marriage green card interview. It really is the Ultimate Marriage Green Card ebook, because not only do I have the 4 pages of questions that they can ask you about your relationship, they could ask more, but these are the ones I've added up over the years. I also have a translation certificate sample, so you could translate your own documents using a friend or something like that instead of paying somebody to translate it. And I also include a sample of how an affidavit or declaration should look like if you need to submit those. So it really is the Ultimate Marriage Green Card interview. If you have questions about what's going to come up in a spousal visa green card case, that's the place to find it in, because it's 4 pages of stuff. I can't talk about 4 pages here. That's not going to make any sense. So go to www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook. You'll get that ebook sent to your email, and then go towards the appendix B, I think it is. There's 4 pages of sample questions that you and your spouse to talk with each other about to be prepared. Now, this is if you're having your green card case in the United States. If you're having it overseas at an embassy, they don't really get into the relationship as much or ask the same kind of questions, but you should be prepared to talk about your relationship history, how you met, all this kind of stuff. But at the embassy, a lot of it is focused on your background, fraud, misrepresentation, that kind of stuff, and criminal activity. Amir says, my spouse is in Pakistan. I'm a green card holder, so how long is it going to take for my wife? I don't know. It's going to take however long it takes. Leba says, yeah, I'm asking again and again because I thought there was a chance for F2B to come during ban. No, F2A, spouse and green card holder, those are banned because of the immigrant visa ban. So unless you have an exception, the kind of work they're doing, most likely they're going to be hit by the ban. Leba says, Amir Sohail, my husband, I-130 approved in 1.5 years. Yeah. So Dustin says, my wife is a U.S. citizen and I'm Filipino. I lost track of your question, Dustin, but these are going into private consultation stuff that get that specific. Abigail asks, I'm petitioning my husband. He has DACA. He makes all the income. Will this be a problem? No, you could use the foreign person's income. The bigger problem is, how are you going to, you start the petition, but are they going to do a waiver, or did your husband have lawful entry? There's a lot going on. Definitely consult with a lawyer to see the best way to deal with that situation. But the foreign spouse income, actually, lawful income, he's in DACA, he has a work permit, that lawful income can be used. It gets complicated if you have to go overseas and he has to quit his job or something. There's nuances to this. It can be a problem. It probably is okay because they're making lawful income based on their work permit that they get through DACA, but if DACA goes away, that's a problem. So there's a lot of ifs and buts and stuff that really requires you to have a consultation with the lawyer in private to discuss the details of it and prepare for different contingencies, different possibilities that may happen that could affect your case. Vishal says, what was the book you just mentioned about marriage visa? Well, this is the Ultimate Marriage Green Card ebook, and you can download it for free at www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook. You put your email address there, and it emails you a copy of the ebook, and you go to the appendix, and you can get the questions, general questions that are asked during an adjustment of status marriage-based green card. Dustin says, we're going to mail these forms, blah, blah, as an evidence. Sure, you're missing some stuff, but you're missing one at least. But yeah, I mean, Dustin, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card ebook. It's all in there. www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook, and you'll see what you need. You know, like you're missing from I-131. You're not going to get an advanced parole document for free. Why would you do that? Dustin says, any more stuff that we need? Yeah, you need to get the Ultimate Marriage Green Card. You really need to consult with an attorney. It's a bad idea to do that, but understand costs are a lot and all that kind of stuff. At the very least, refer to this ebook to get a general idea. It's not everything you need to know. I can't say that, but it really covers most of it. And you would have caught that you missed the advanced parole travel permit request that you missed there. But I don't know if your case is appropriate for adjustment of status. And that ebook will talk about when it is and when it isn't, and when consular processing is needed, when a waiver is needed. I go into that kind of stuff. I think that's the best resource for a person that's doing it themselves, especially to at least consult with first so they don't miss things like you did right there with the I-131 advanced parole travel document. Ejas says, hey sir, I have a question. Can I apply for a combo card, travel and work permit based on approved SIGIS? I don't handle SIGIS cases, so I don't know the details. You probably can when you file for adjustment of status anyways, but I don't want to comment on a case I don't handle. H. Conscious says, can a TPS holder come back to the USA after staying more than 6 months during this COVID-19? So you stayed outside and you're a TPS holder. It depends on how long your advanced parole was. If your advanced parole expired, then you're in a bad situation. So it's not about how long you've been staying, it's about how long your advanced parole travel document was. And if that you violated that, then you're really out of luck, and that's that. And if you visit the home country, they might not look fondly on that, but it's a case-by-case basis, so that's some general information that hopefully give you some advice before you consult with an immigration attorney in private. All right, we're running out of time here. We'll probably take 1 or 2 more questions as they pop up. We'll get it out there, but the ebook, as I said, www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook. Download that and you get a lot of these questions answered, so you have it all in one place there. I'm about to end this video right here. Go play with the kids a little bit while the sun is still out. You're welcome, H. Concha. It's been a very sunny day in Los Angeles. It's going to get hotter and hotter next couple days, so hopefully we'll jump the pool, have some fun. I hope you're all doing well too. I know a lot of craziness is going on in the world, but hopefully we bring some sunshine with these sessions, and hopefully I could lighten it up. I wish I was funnier. I could say some jokes here to make it more fun to listen to this, but hopefully my enthusiasm in immigration law helps a lot. Sunny says thank you as well. But I guess with that, we're hitting the 30-minute mark. Thank you all for joining us. So we'll be back here again tomorrow on TikTok, Immigration Lawyer John, and on YouTube Live. So not only is this recording going to be on YouTube, but we're going to do YouTube Live tomorrow, Wednesday, August 12th, and discuss immigration law, U.S. immigration law, take your questions, answers, and give some updates as they come along. I guess until then, have a good one. God bless and be safe. Bye-bye.